TSS. Hello, TSS family. How are y'all doing today? Come on, y'all, make some noise. Listen, to all of our new viewers, welcome to the family, y'all. Make some noise for our guest DJ. DJ Crush is in the house. Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I hope everybody's ready for today's show.
Everybody better get ready because we are jumping right into today's show because we have so much to unpack. So y'all sit back, relax, grab your bubbly beverage, and let's get this show on. Hey! Let's get it started! Oh, yeah. So listen, I'm going to take a moment to sit down and talk to you about today's guest. Today's guest has a story that a lot of men actually go through and endure. He went from sexual abuse and homosexuality to finding God and his soon-to-be wife. Y'all here to share his truth. Make some noise for Mr. Stephen Smith. I'm gonna grab my bubbly beverage.
I might need one too.
He might need one too. I'm glad that you can laugh and smile today because your life has not always been about smiling and enjoying, just existing. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming. You dealt with a lot of turmoil in your life at such an early age.
Yeah.
What was life like with your mom and your dad?
Oh, gosh, you had to hit me with that one.
We coming straight from the top.
Okay, life with my mom and dad. Mom on this side, dad on this side. Angel, demon. Prayed to God, believed in the devil. Took us to church. Took us to the Bible. Showed us drunkenness, abuse, disorder, chaos, foolishness. But yet and still, she would have a smile on her face. Through all of that, the fighting, the drama, the chaos.
When I say opposites attract, they sound totally opposite.
They were.
Wow. So you suffered sexual abuse from a family member.
Yeah.
How did the sexual abuse begin and how did it end up continuing? It just continued.
Well, growing up in my house, back in the day in the 60s, 70s, I'm older now. I was called
we can't tell.
a latchkey kid. We don't crack. We don't
black no crack. I love it.
So
you were a latchkey kid.
I was considered a latchkey kid. For those that don't know what a latchkey kid is, basically is you're the only. I came home first, and basically someone that was a family member had the key to come watch and monitor me to make sure I'm not burning the house down and doing what Mama told me to do.
But you pretty much was taking care of yourself.
I was taking care
home.
of myself at home.
Because your mom or dad thought that you were responsible enough to be home.
Which I was, because they both struck fear in me. Like, hey, don't let us come home to no foolishness.
Right.
Let us come home to a normal house, as normal as it was back then.
I was going to say, and little did they know. So not only was your innocence taken, Mr. Smith, but you got exposed to a life of hustling.
Yeah.
How did you get introduced to hustling? And explain to us what hustling is real quick. And then tell us how you got into the life of it.
Can I finish? Can I get to that? How did it begin with me? You said with the childhood molestation?
Yes.
You want to get to that?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, since my father was who he was, I was looking for a father. I was hungry for a father. The person who molested me became my father because he treated me like his son. He talked with me, laughed with me, exercise, helped me to, read, learn, education, everything. He did everything that I was craving for my father. So the manipulation came in when, I'll say about 6 months, because I was 7 years old at that time. I was 7.
Wow.
So the manipulation came in, from what I can remember, 6 months. And he started coercing and manipulating and touching me and things like that. He groomed me into become what he wanted me to be. And he basically said, if you don't give me what I want, I can't give you what you want. And I craved that attention. I would stand at the window waiting for him to come before the act happened because you treated me like a son.
Right.
And it was just so crazy to the point that He had a girlfriend at the time, and I think she knew what was going on because they would get into arguments, and she would call me out my name.
Really? At 7
At
years
7
old?
years old. Like, and then, because of my household, the way that my daddy's mouth used to spit fire, I learned how to spit fire when I was young. So I used to get back at her.
Right.
But the actual act happened because I gave in, because it was like something was in my head, like, just do it. Go ahead, just do it, do it. So I gave into it. And that was like 3 years of my life that I ended up being in that lifestyle at that point.
Oh my goodness. When it was happening, Mr. Smith, how did you feel? You were so young. You could not even understand what was really happening, could you?
I didn't know what to feel. I just did it because they kept replaying in my head. Remember, he said, if you don't do this, he can't become who you want. So I'd already had him as a father figure in my life. So I had to keep my father. And if this is the way I'm going to keep my father, then this is what I have to do. And that's basically what I did. I just
So out of the love that you had for him and not wanting to lose the dream you had to have a father.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I want to go to this next question
Okay.
that I asked you before you had the opportunity to answer this troubling answer that you just gave me about a man that was supposed to be there to protect you. So you lost your innocence and you were exposed to hustling.
Hustling.
What hustling? What kind of hustling? What is hustling?
Well, at first, when I was in school, for some reason, I went to a predominantly white school in elementary. And I was a fat kid. I was always a big boy. So I would bring my cookies and powdered donuts and lollipops and candies because I worked for my allowance. And I would bring it to the school. Now, the school that I went to, most of the kids had like their fruits and vegetables and snacks like that.
And you brought the sweets.
I brought the sweets. I brought that. I call it cocaine.
Stop it! Not.
Back then, it was.
Never
Back
then.
it was sugar's addictive.
No.
highly
It
addictive.
is.
So when
Sugar is very addictive.
When I brought that to the school, I would, like, some of the kids, Caucasian kids, would be like, "Steve, give me some of that." And something clicked in my head. I said, "Give me a quarter," and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" They would go and give me change, and the kids would say, "I got a quarter, I got a dime, And a light came on, and the next thing I know, I'm going to my mom working extra hard to make more money, and to go to the corner store, and I would buy me a little pencil box, and I would put all of my snacks in there that I was selling. So it started then. And then when I got caught, my father had to come get me, and he was 6'5", so I was terrified of him.
This is the father
That used to do all the abuse.
that was molesting you. That was raping you.
Not that father,
Not that one.
my real father.
So, oh my goodness.
He had to come. My father was vicious.
Jesus.
He was a monster. He was very vicious.
I'm so sorry.
And
you thought you were going somewhere safer.
Thought of a more safer thing. So when they called him, I said, he's going to kill me right in this office. He's going to beat me down. But he laughed. I was like.
Was that the first time he was proud of you because you was hustling?
He was first time he was excited. Oh,
that's my son.
Ooh, the
Wow.
principal was like, oh, he's suspended. He was like, I don't care. And he said, you're going to be just like me. He spoke it on me.
Are you serious?
So that's when I found out I became like a hustler. Now, how I started going into the bigger game is a whole nother thing. But that's
right, because I need you to talk to me. Just go ahead and talk to me.
What's up? What's going on?
So while hustling, you were dealing with the hidden truth of homosexuality.
Yes.
Right? Talk to us about the lifestyle of a gay hustler in a straight world.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
come on.
When I got the title, which God gave to me, because the type of hustles that I did, I had like 5 or 6 streams. It was the booster bag. It was credit cards. It was checks. It was traveler's checks. It was bank drafts, and also using the credit cards in a certain way to where I can do some different, like, wire transfers as well,
wow.
deeper. So
yeah, you went all into the feds.
But I treated it.
Oh, Jesus!
Don't say that too loud.
No, you just said it to 14 million people. My God!
It's over. It's past. I paid the price.
Yes, you paid the price,
and I'm a new man.
Amen.
So when I got deep into that, I started getting to the point that because of something happened with one of my sisters, where she was in a car accident and put her in a vegetated state.
Oh no!
And she has 6 kids.
Boy.
So
It doesn't get any easier, does it?
no, it just seemed like it goes down, down.
So did you help with the 6 kids?
The 6 kids, the 2 parents,
Oh my
and I helped
goodness.
my brothers and sisters out whenever they needed. But my mind was set on them. So I started treating it as a business. And one thing I learned
It was
about
the family business
It was
now.
the
It's
family
not
business.
hustling. I'm taking care of my family.
So before
Wow.
before all the stuff you see on television now,
Mm.
I was doing that back in the 90s, early 2000s. So when I shifted into a business, one thing I learned about being in that lifestyle that I didn't deal with a lot of gay people when it came to my money, because a lot of them were messy and they kept up foolishness and they would turn you in. So my thing was I ran with a bunch of girls, females, and I was maybe 1 or 2 of the guys that was there. So when I shifted into a business, my mindset was strictly on these are my streams of income. I got them to take care of. I got me to take care of and whomever I was with.
Wow.
So I had to take that hustle there. So why I say is in a straight world is because that's what I mainly dealt with is straight people.
Straight people.
Because I knew you weren't going to pull no foolishness, and they knew that I came with that attitude like my father. So you're going to respect me. You won't try to use that right there as an excuse to try to get over or try to pimp me. Though some have tried it. Try to get with me, sleep
It's
with
like,
me.
baby, that is not my
No, that don't
weakness.
work. No,
Mr. Smith, we're going to
no.
take a break. Don't you
Okay.
go nowhere. And don't y'all go nowhere. We'll be right back with Mr. Stephen T. Smith. Hello and welcome back to the Sisaundra Show. On the lavender couch today is Mr. Stephen T. Smith. He is the author of the book, The Lifestyle of a Gay Hustler in a Straight World. If you were watching before our break, we were talking about different challenges that Mr. Smith has gone through, the childhood abuse, the rape, the everything, and now being in the streets and learning to hustle and taking care of your family. Would you please tell us what realization did you have that God spoke to you and turned your life around like only He can?
Well, he spoke to me through many different times, many different situations. When I faced situations of going to jail and prison, I was there.
I just want to say rape, because for someone to trust someone at that age and you're in the home and they do something like that, they raped you at such a young age.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that is what made you turn to the world of homosexuality?
Oh, without a doubt.
Really?
When it got to the point of when I was in middle school, I met one of my best friends who's no longer here. And we were like brothers, and it was like, it is what it is. We're just out. We're just gonna live like this. Oh well, everybody
In middle
knew about us.
school?
Middle school.
Wow.
I knew I was like that in elementary, but I came out in like 6th, 7th grade.
Wow.
I didn't have a choice. I was getting into fights, and like I told you, my father was, don't come home and tell me you lost.
Right, so you had to win.
I had to win, so I was getting into fights, people calling me fag, calling me sissy, calling me punk, calling me all these names. So it was what it was, but I made sure I was the best looking in the room.
Okay.
I was always making sure that I was styled, that's when I was to go out and steal my clothes and hustle and that and whatnot. But it got to the point that it was what it was.
It was what it was, but let me ask you this. You look great on the outside, even today.
Yeah.
You have this air and energy about you that seems very positive. But on the inside, when this was happening to you, how did you feel not having to be, you can't tell from the exterior.
Never.
Tell us from the interior how you truly felt.
From the inside, my personal situation was I was always looking for that person. I'm not going to say his name,
Still.
but I was always looking for that person. I put it on different faces and different places.
Wow.
That no matter who I was with, I was always wanting that. And I can equate it to a high. I had a cousin that used to be on drugs, and she would explain to me the reason why she was always chasing that high is because the first time it's the best.
Wow.
And I was looking for that considered to be the best. And I constantly chased, and I got deep into that lifestyle because I didn't see anything else. Nobody was
made
trying to
people
rescue
who
me.
you wanted them to be.
Exactly.
And they were not.
They were not.
At all.
At all. So inside, I was still looking for that. that high.
Yes.
And when I couldn't get that high, I would move on. Why? Because in my household, there were multiple women that my father dealt with. So I attributed that trait of moving on from person to person to person.
Oh my God.
So I understand a form of an addiction.
Yes.
That was an addiction for me.
Wow. It was an addiction, but you moved on.
I
and
did.
You have ended up finding love.
Yes.
So what did that conversation look like when you met the woman that you would be in love with today and you had to tell your story? How did you come up with the words to share your history with a woman about your history of being with men?
Well, it's funny. Before this person that God brought into my life, there were other women that were interested, but I was like, no, because I wasn't there.
Right.
I didn't have an interest for a woman at all like that. But the person that he brought into my life, I actually knew like 20-something years before we even got together. And it's funny how you can speak things that be not as though they are.
Come on.
You can speak things into existence. When I first saw her with her cousin, because we were at a gay club. We were out and about. We were doing gay things.
Keep it real.
When he brought her around, I was like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Like, who is this? Oh, that's my cousin. This is my cousin Kelly. I said, wow, she's beautiful. I said, this is my wife. And I would literally take her and say, you're my wife. The rest of y'all can go on y'all hard heads. And we hung out together as friends. Because like I said, I was still in that, deep in it. The ballroom scene, everything. Because it'll try to revisit you. And it has tried plenty of times. But God said, no. I'm putting a stranglehold on it. It will not come back.
It ain't coming back.
So
the life of it has been killed. It's over.
Has been destroyed.
So, Mr. Smith, you wrote a book called Homosexuality to Holiness.
Yes.
Talk to us about that journey.
Ooh, well, okay.
Who you are today from homosexuality to holiness.
Okay. Ooh, you took me there. Okay.
Ooh, them some powerful H's. The one on the end is the most.
And when I got that title, and just to let you know that every title I got came from him. Everything had to be brought back from him. He had to help me to revisit this stuff because I suppressed everything that was written in this book. And this is what it felt like. Can you imagine somebody coming behind you with a switchblade and slices you across the back of your neck and all the blood starts gushing? That's how the memories came. So I had to go back to 7 years old. And it took me years to write this. Because I had to revisit all the hurt, pain, the trauma, the fights, memories. Everything. Now, to segue to homosexuality to holiness, which he said it's God's turn. He meant what he said. In 2010, I was living in Miami, just me and my pit bulls. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me one day and said, I want you to move back to West Palm Beach. I said, who, not me? See, I'm real with God. I said, why do you want me to move here? So I have a purpose. I said, no, I can't do it. I said, you're going to have, no, sorry. Well, I lost everything. And I had to give my dogs away. And I had to go stay with someone for 3 months.
Wow.
Couldn't get a job for nothing. And my resumes are always impeccable. And the Holy Spirit said in the 3rd month, what did I tell you?
Come on.
I'm shutting everything down there. And I went home. So when I went home, I went through a lot of transitions and changes, as you read in the book, of literally pre-homeless, of homeless, struggling, food stamps, rooming houses, repossessions, drama, problems, unemployment. I went through a lot of pressing, beating, and shaking. I went through a lot of things, and God told me, this is necessary, that I have to do this to you. That I have to pull you through that, put you in that. Even though he was taking care of me, making sure I was good, he was transitioning me out of homosexuality, and I still was trying to go back. I still wanted to go to the balls, if you ever heard of the voguing and things like that. I still wanted to go back because I was the father of the house in Milan. I still wanted to hang out in the balls. I still wanted to go to the clubs. I still wanted to hang around with my gay friends. And God let me know, the devil is laughing at me. I said, for what? I said, I don't sleep around anymore. I don't mess around with anybody. He says, because you keep going down there and doing what I'm telling you not to do. I said, step down.
You can't be the king or the person of
Yes.
the Milan house anymore.
And going to church, singing the choir, praising the Lord, speaking in tongues, prophesying to people, and you're turning around and you're still going in that.
You can't serve
He
two
said,
gods.
no, you cannot. So God's like, this is what I'm going to do. And he started putting more fire and heat on me and transitioning me out more and more to the point that I stepped down, I let it go, and he started really taking me through another process of really purging me of unforgiveness towards my molester, unforgiveness towards my father, unforgiveness towards he said, forgive yourself too. Some people don't do that. You got to forgive yourself. Even if you did not, even if it was not your fault, you still have to forgive yourself. So when he took me from the homosexuality to holiness, he cleaned me from 2010 all the way up to even now when I met my beautiful fiance, that I was clean. Did the temptation come? You better believe it. They came hand over fist. People I met from years ago saying, you don't remember me? No, I don't. I was interested in you. I don't remember
I don't remember
So they
you.
were coming while God was processing and purging me at the same time to get me to this place called holiness.
That's powerful.
It was
Well,
him.
we all know that greater is he that is
lives
in
in
me.
me.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I do believe that there are missions and things for us to do in the world, but we are to be in, but not of the world. It's been such an honor to sit here. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you.
I want to ask you one question before we leave. One
Sure.
more question. If you could say anything to the man that took your innocence, what would you say to him?
I forgive you.
Wow. God bless you.
God bless you too.
Thank y'all so much for watching. We're going to say goodbye for now. God bless you. You've been watching The Sisaundra Show. DJ Crush. Yes! Hello, everyone. If you are at work, at home, y'all drop everything and tune in because it's time for the Sisaundra Show!
Yeah!
Listen, I'm just kidding. Don't y'all get fired. Don't drop everything at work. Listen, speaking of fired, y'all